Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupini avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayostritva Pranamami Murmuru Namasri Yadirajaya Vivekananda Suri Satchit Sukhasvarupaya Swamine Tapaharini Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So continuing our study of Vivekachudamani. So one might ask why this being said again and again, the same ideas. शास्त्र में पुनरुक्ति is not a defect. क्यों शास्त्र तो एक उद्देश्य नहीं करते हैं ना. So repetition in the shastra is not considered a defect. So we've also seen Kathamrit. Again and again, the stories are repeated several times. The ideas are discussed again and again. The idea is, by constantly discussing, they get more embedded into our hearts. So we tend to realize, we tend to remember much more. Because it's all, see, ultimately, there's nothing to say. Simply you have to say, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya, everything is over. Bas, nothing else needs to be said. But why it is said again and again? No, the more you discuss, the more the mind dwells on those topics. So more there is a chance of our remembering, our recollecting, our practicing, all that the chances increase if you do them more repeatedly or again and again. Like that is why it is said, to emphasize moreover. So ultimately, as you said, there is not much to discuss at all. Only a couple of sentences is all that is the truth. But it is discussed elaborately with various examples, various angles, so that you remember it ultimately. So यहाँ भी बताते हैं, तो इन्होंने तो बताया विवेक वैराग्य ये दोनों से सब होगा. विवेका and वैराग्य are most important. How to withdraw the mind from the sense objects? आपकी तो मन है, सारे विषय है. How do you withdraw the mind? Said Viveka and Vairagya are the two instruments. Now, not only that, he says how one has to be careful. For that he says, Manonama Mahavyagra Vishyaranya Bhumishu Charatyatra Gachantu Sadhavo Ye Mumukshavaha. Manonama Mahavyagra is a terrible tiger. They sometimes to wean away the mind. बच्चे लोग बोलते हैं हाय वहाँ पुलिस है, वहाँ भूत है, to डराने के लिए बोलते हैं, to frighten somebody or child or something. So again Sankara is using the same technique. Manonama Mahavyaga is a terrible tiger in the form of mind. Vishyaranya Bhumishu. It is wanders in the vast forest of the sense objects. And then Charatyatra Nagachantu Sadhavo Ye Mukshavaha. Atra Charati. The Vyagra is roaming about in that forest, great forest. Mahavyagra. Bhumishu Charati. Atra Nagachantu Sadhava. Sadhava Moksha, the great souls are those who are desiring of liberation. Such people should not enter that forest, the forest of Vishayas. So the mind has to be controlled. The sense objects are the forest. So when the mind goes there, it gets completely lost. But they could have even used expression like in such a huge forest, if you go, you get lost completely. As it happens, there is to our center in San Francisco. There's one Olema or something, some 1900 acres. Some people went and they got lost actually. So through helicopter, they had to be identified and rescued. So our life is also like that. If the mind is given a free rein, simply go and get completely lost in the Vishayaranya, the forest of Vishya, Maharanya. It's a great forest. So that's why one the Katham says, Vishayang Steshu Gocharam. They roam there. So a fierce tiger called mind in wanders at will. So of course it is the nature, because that is what the Kathopanishad Paranchikani Vatrina Swayambhuhu Parang Pashitina Antaratma. Paranchika, like windows, it's all created, opening outwards. So immediately, the mind goes, because the eye, ear, all these senses, and the mind getting linked to them, goes to sense objects. So it is made like that. So just like, the water from higher level to lower level, the flow of water is very normal, very spontaneous. Similarly, the mind going, the senses going after sense objects is very normal. The senses can go, but it is the mind that is the control. If the mind controls, then it cannot. Right in front of me, a plate of amriti is kept. Let me change the example. The eyes are seeing, but unless the mind says, no, go and pick it up, eat it, it is very nice, very sweet, you will not get a chance again. And the mind, various ways, it tries to goad the sense to perform. And eyes are seeing, the next the hands have to go on. So it is the mind that is really important. So sense objects, towards that, the senses are always attracted. That's the normal. Just as iron gets attracted to a magnet. But if the mind puts a barrier, the mind is the one which controls, then it is cut off there. It doesn't get translated into action. That's why they say, even after great sadhana, what happens? The karmas, every karma leaves some kind of a vritti or a beej in the mind. It's all stored in the chitta. So whenever anything comes up, it really gets attached to that. Maybe you have taken something, amriti you have taken. So its vasana is there, it's registered in the mind. So whenever you hear from a distance something like chain and the red color, immediately you are reminded of amriti. And then there is one, stage one. And the mind further goads the person. Go to Bangla sweet stall. Buy one plate amriti. Eat, very nice. And if you go, you have fallen victim to that. So, if the mind can detach itself even at that point, one is saved. See, even the higher state is where the vrittis have completely become like burnt seeds. Dagda bija avastha this. It is completely, there's nothing. It cannot sprout anymore. Normally, in the seeds, as long as the capacity to sprout, they are very live, we can say. जब भी वहां से निकल सकते हैं. So it is always potentially, the potential tree is inside the seed. But if you burn a seed, will any plant come out of it? Nothing. So in the mind also, the vasanas, the vrittis are stored repeatedly by tremendous amount of sadhana. It's like, running a roller over again and again and again and again and again and again. Finally, they become so weak and powerless, they become like a burnt seeds, like the bija, the highest. But prior to that, it is all there. The moment you see something, there's a stimulus. But there also, there only this Viveka and Vairagya, they come into operation. No, I might have had it, but I'm not going to fall victim to that. It will lead to diabetes, it will lead to indigestion, it will lead to other problems. No, I don't want everything. In the mind, if it is controlled by Viveka and Vairagya, that is the decision to be taken. Otherwise, it will simply run out. So that is the stage. So in the stage 2, the vrittis might bring you the memories, the smriti, asakti, it can come back again. And there will be a tendency also immediately. It raises in the mind. But then if you have these powerful instruments and Viveka and Vairagya, you have practiced for a long time, then immediately, oh, you are trying to tempt me. Nothing doing. I cut it off here itself. No Amriti today. Come what may. Then simply it dies. That for the time being, that vasana that dies out. Unless again it is something like that. So that is the struggle. So at the very, very high levels, because of that constant effort, finally they lose their power even to prompt. Even if you see something, no reaction, nothing. It doesn't remind you of something, it doesn't remind you of the sweet experience, it doesn't make you feel like running to the shop. Nothing will happen. Oh, it's okay. Oh, it is there, it's there. Nothing. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's like Amriti, it doesn't matter. It doesn't immediately bring those pleasurable experience in the mind. The mouth does not water. The mind does not say that no, go somehow get it. All those things will not happen. So there is a higher level then. So that's why it says somehow how does all that happen? Sometimes even you don't have to even see physically. You don't even see. Sometimes we are sitting back, we remember that. Oh, acha, that Bhandara, how nice. Huh? शादी में गया था वाह वाह कैसे खिलाया then all that start ध्यायतो विषयान पुंसः Lord Gita says sangastesu pajayate then attachment grows then desire kama then krodha te sammoha smriti vibhrama then smriti bhramshat buddhinashat like that slowly I think somewhere else you'll I think either we have already seen probably that sloka. Krida kandukavat. Shankaracharya uses an expression. Just like if the ball starts on a flight of steps, it will go down till it reaches the floor. It doesn't need any further anyone to throw it or push it. Automatically it will keep going down and down and down. So that is this. Once you see, once you remember, once the attachment grows, all those problems have. So finally, that is why it says, sadhava, mokshava, those are all very saintly person, those who desire liberation, should not somehow get digressed and attracted into the forest of Vishayas. Beware, your mind itself will become a Vyagra, tiger, and it wants to go. Control your mind so that forest of sense pleasures has no attraction for you. Isn't that's why kaschid dhiraha pratyagatmanamekshat avrita chakru amritatvam dhira. Those are able to control. The Kathopanishad calls them as dhira because they want immortality. They have understood this world is nothing. These attractions are all meaningless, very temporary. For do din ke liye, I will not fall into the trap. Then the mind becomes strong, nothing doing, and it doesn't enter that forest. So, earlier there was a sloka where it clearly Shankaracharya said, what is this avidya? Avidya has no existence apart from the mind, is it not? If the mind is not there, avidya has no sense. Avidya, because of the mind, it wants a location, address, pata hai na. Simply if we gave so and so, Mr. Bansal, no address, then what does it matter? No, there will be thousands of Bansals in thousands of places. But if you say, oh, so and so place, so and so flat, then it becomes localized, operational. So this avidya also, without mind, avidya has nothing. That's why he said, nahi asti avidya manaso atirikta manohi avidya bhavabandetu. Previously he had said clearly. So again he's only going to elaborate that area. So he says clearly, there is no avidya apart from the mind. Because it cannot, where it will locate, where will it rest? Avidya wants a resting place. From there it will operate. The mind is a place where without that, avidya has no location or no place. So that is why he says, manasohi avidya. Because mind itself avidya. Because if we say avidya has no existence apart from the mind, then you can as well call mind itself is avidya. Because without mind, the avidya cannot operate at all. So ignorance has no meaning. Ignorance meaning only if it operates through the mind. So you can say mind itself is avidya. Because without that, there is no ignorance without mind. So they are, you can say, one and the same like that. Manaha prasute Vishayan aseshan Stulatmana Sukshmataya cha bhuktuhu Sharira varnasrama jati vedan Gunakriya hetu phalani nityam. So he says, this is only the mind prasuyate. The mind only produces for the jiva aseshan vishayan, countless objects, countless sense objects, stulatmana sukshmataya, both the gross and subtle, innumerable objects the mind produces. Mind only produces. For whom? Bhoktuhu, for the enjoyer. Actually, normally if you think that what is all there, how the mind is, it's only the mind. Because no, I see this, I have something in here, there a little I have read, I know this is mind. Somebody who is an electrical engineer might give you a more finer expression to this. So गांव वाले को है, अरे तो काला काला दो चीज रखा है. So it's all the way you look at it, the way you identify. Is it not? Sometimes that's why. Of course, the Advaita Vedanta, always they give the classical example of Sarpa and Rajju and all that. But the real thing is, anything is only the mind that gives a shape. Is it not? Otherwise, by itself, there is nothing. Anything, any idea, any vishaya, any object, is all without mind. There is no sense. There is no content at all. The content is created only by the mind. And of course, again, they will give the example, because in sleep, where has all this gone? Where is all the property, all the money, all the clothes, all the relatives, all the houses, all the cars? Where are they? They are all gone. So when you wake up, again they come back. So it's very clear. It's because of the mind only. If the mind is not there, it doesn't go. So what do you say for people? Somebody, uska to dimag kharab ho gaya. Why? The mind is not able to identify the way other people do. Then it thinks that it's a bad mind or it's an insane mind, pagal man. I say, patati na. So like that, it only produces all these Sula, Sukshma, everything is produced by the mind only for the enjoyer. Now, what are the ways it does? Sharira, Varnasrama, Jati, Veda. Starting from the body, the distinctions of the body, and then the Varna, Ashrama, and then the Jati, Guna, Kriya, Hetu, and also the action, cause, effects, Guna, Kriya, Hetu, Alani Nityam are always produced by the mind only. So it's the mind that produces all this. So the classical argument is in the person's waking state, in the gross forms, the creation is affected through the experience produced by the objects to the sense organs presided over by the respective deities. Each sense organ has a presiding deity, they say. Otherwise, the eye is only just a ball of some flesh or whatever it is. If you cut off the ear and place it, can it hear? No. The ear, and then there is something behind that, and then there is a mind, then there is a buddhi. Finally, it is registered as an experience. But the classical, they say it's always each Indriya has a deity or a devata that makes it work, and then all the things experience that are created are known or witnessed only by the pure consciousness or the I or the aham or the chaitanya, which is behind all that. So if that is silent, then nothing is recognized, nothing is felt. You know that the mind creates the manifold distinction like body, varna, ashrama, and actually. Why? All they do, someone is fat, someone is lean, someone is tall, someone is short. Where this classification? Who has made all that? It's only mind. Not only that, to me, someone might appear tall, To you, same person might appear short. To me, someone might appear fat. Someone might say, no, he's very lean and thin. So, everything is completely the imagination of the mind. The way the mind classifies, then there is understanding in the buddhi, and that is how we enjoy or practice or experience or whatever it is. Similarly, and also this varna, brahmana, kshatriya, shudra, all that, vaishya, what is all that? It's all creation of the mind only. Is there anything entity like that? Mind somehow said no. One kind of people belong to this, one type of people. So all the mental divisions of humanity is not this way, this and that. Similarly, all this ashrama also, brahmacharya, garhastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, all are the divisions in the mind. Similarly, the caste is higher caste, lower caste, the Shudra, Brahmana, these, that. And similarly, the quality. Oh, he's a good person, he's a bad person, he's a nice person, he's a sweet person. Yeah, he's noble, he's charitable, he's a very truth seeker, he's a truthful person, he's a liar, he's a rogue. Everything, all these gunas, particularly gunas, in innumerable ways the mind divides, the mind devises ways of listening. Everything is because of the mind. And then, not only that, the actions and the cause and the effect are all for the mind only. The mind says, go and break it. Then immediately it goes, it breaks the cause and the effect, all arise from the mind only. You go and kill that person, go and help that person, send money for that, help in that relief work, help this, help that, buy food for somebody, buy clothes for somebody. Don't do. They are lazy people. So it's all, the guna, kriya, action, and the hetu, everything, palani nityam, keep on producing for eternity, all these kinds of fruits, etc. And that in turn leads to all these raga, attachment, this and that. So you see, this one single factor, how much is responsible for our life, the way we are doing, the way we are not doing, is it not? Everything is just in the mind only. Something happens in the mind, something even immediately in the dream, and then you start believing it, start acting even based on whatever you have. Sometimes many of the stimulus, many of the strong feelings come in the dream, and then immediately you wake up and go and eat, do something, whatever it is. So everything, sound, etc., are they all, why? Because immediately they give the example in the dreamless sleep, nothing. It's not a single little movement, even a millimeter. The same way, the house, this, that, all that you have created in the waking state, they all vanish. They're all not there. For a person who is in deep sleep, is there any house? Is there any property? Not even body. Even body is not there. Is it not? In the sleep, in the dream sleep at least, you have if not, this body, still body is not there, but in Sukshma Sharira, you go, you enter a lion's den, you do hunting, you become a Raja, you become something, you go to foreign, you go to so many things. The mind creates the enjoyer also. The enjoyer and the enjoyed both are created by the mind. Because you cannot use your indriyas, you cannot use your senses, and you cannot experience the way you do in a stula avastha in the waking state. Dream, at least everything is necessary. In the deep sleep, there's nothing. So all that you thought of, it's all totally gone. Only that consciousness, that I is there, that too you know, because afterwards when you get up, you recollect, oh, it was a wonderful sleep. There's no disturbance. I slept beautifully. I felt so peaceful. All that it says, even this deep sleep state, there is a witness which is seeing this sleep is happening like that. So there is nothing else. The objects, there is no other cause. So this is what really creates for the person, and that is how we get involved in all that. Then actually it says, see, all these are done, but again the Acharya takes us back to the real nature. He said, it is all there, but is it the truth? Is it what it really our Swarupa? No. Asanga Chittam, Asanga, Asanga Chit Rupamamam Vimohya, Dehendriya Pranagune Nibadhya, Aham Mama iti Brahmati Brahmatyajasrasam Manaskritas Yeshu Palopabhuktishu. Asanga Chitrupam Amam Vimohya. This Asanga is actually the real self has no attachment. It's only because of the mind. If you take away the mind, if you control the mind, you go back to it. That's what happens when you dive deep into meditation. When you're in a state of great inwardness, maybe a state of samadhi, state of total stillness, calmness, nothing. There's no attachment. There's no feeling. There's not even the feeling of the body. Those who can meditate deeply for hours, we cannot sit for 5-10 minutes. This leg is paining, that leg is paining. You have to change legs, you have to change posture, you have to look at the clock every 2 minutes. But if you can practice the idea of deep meditation, there are people who can meditate hours. There's no feeling of the body itself. Completely, they at least for some time, though they even go beyond the idea of the body. That's why it says, Asanga Chitrupam Amum Chidrupa Amum Vimohya. This is Chitrupa, is the nature of consciousness, intelligent. It is unattached to anything. But no, by binding him Vimohya, Dehendriya Prana Gune Nibadhya. Binding him. See, normally this is asanga chit of the nature of chit. It is vimokhya. It is devoid of any moha or delusion. But such a pure entity, you are binding it. How do you nibadhya? How it is done? Dehendriya prana gunai nibadhya. By the cords, by the ropes of body, sense organs, vital ears, etc. Dehe Indriya Prana Gune, all with all that. And then what does it do? Aham Mama iti Brahmati Ajasrajam. It keeps on, making go up and down, roam about with the idea me and mine. Aham Mama iti. These are the things, is it not? The whole avidya, whole concept of avidya, ignorance, our problem, just 2 words. Aham Mama. Me and mine. If you remove that, nothing. Everything is related to this only. It's my body, my mind, my indriyas, my ideas, my chair, my table, my this thing, everything, my, me and mine. So aham mama iti. I think the Sankaracharya it starts with that. Aham mama iti naisargikoyam loka vyavahara. So in real nature, it's like that. But by binding him, Brahmati Ajasasam, up and down, the sense of agency, Manasvakrityeshu, Falopabhuktishu, position of mind, among the objects produced by Falopabhuktishu. This is produced by Manasvakrityeshu. This is by his own action. The action, the mind leads him with a sense of agency, position of I and mind, and also among the objects produced by his actions, mean here the mind's actions. Because of the mind, he produces all those actions. It creates objects and it binds him with the same objects. It is not that the objects are external. All these are all created the mind. And using those minds as a rope, it again binds the person. Same idea, with the same rope. Deha, Indriya, Prana, Guna, these are all only the creations of the mind, identification of the mind. So then, it using all that, and then, so added to that, the mind, by his own mind, creates so many objects of enjoyment, desire, etc. Using all that, it makes him go up and down endlessly, countlessly. It makes him simply Brahmayati. See what it makes him. In Bengali they say, Dodi diye gano ghurach. You are bound by the rope and You are swirling around like that. So the mind is the subject of action. The Atman is basically Asanga, Chidrupa, etc. So it's Swami said that kind of supreme intelligence. So it's it's deluded by the qualities of the mind, the sense organs, and the vital air, etc. It is incapable of accomplishing its real nature. It is made to identify itself with the body, sense organs, vital airs, and to think that these properties are the sense of mind. We think the my body. Today I am feeling this thing. It is my body. I am feeling bad. I am feeling sick. I am feeling feverish. So all that is produced in the body, etc. It identifies and assumes them as me and mine. It's my jewelry, my property, my wish, my desire, my office. Everything is now is me and mine. A person, actually, that's why they say it is said, a person performs actions to enjoy, and then to be able to perform, he enjoys. So these keep on. भोग करने के लिए काम, काम के लिए भोग. ये चलता रहता है. In both ways, it keeps on working. So, if a person realizes that he is the supreme self or the Paramatman, with what benefit, desiring what benefit or what convenience would he suffer pains in the body? Because after all, as long as you're in the body, you're subject to terrible sufferings, is it not? It may be nice to start with, but then the moment you become 30, 32 and all that, it starts. For some people, even it starts much younger, from birth itself. But normally, as you spend a little more time, more and more it starts showing its fangs, this disease, that disease, here pain, there pain. So, what a terrible burden it is, this body. So, the more and more we realize that by our real nature, we are unattached and of the nature of immense joy, happiness, etc. And then it will cut out all desires and will not do anything. So the agency and the enjoyments are bound up with attachment. That is the body and the sense organs. The more and more you indulge, more and more attachments are created. Every action that we do, that is why they say those who lead a spiritual life have to be extremely careful, because whatever we do, it leaves a mark in the chitta, in the mind step. So if you do anything with the idea of enjoying, that is obviously going to create trouble for you. So the only way is completely cut out all that. So that is why in the dreamless sleep, the mind is completely still. It does not function there. And then, there is, as a result, there is no attachment. Nothing happens through that. So avidya itself, the avidya, ignorance by itself, does not cause any bondage or anything. Only when it operates in the bhumi of mind, it becomes so powerful and that is capable of creating the bondage. Because suppose there is something which is there, how is it wrongly identified? How is it wrongly felt? They say it is avidya. But there is avidya, does it affect an individual? Supposing in the dim light, there is a rope, it is identified as sattva. How does it affect the individual? Only when the mind goes and gets attached, and then it creates fear, it creates doubt, it creates other reactions. So avidya by itself is incapable of creating any bondage. Only when it strays to the mind, and mind takes the center stage, when avidya gets a bhumi to operate, a space to operate, then only it can be a part. You have a very, very, very powerful car, but you can't take it out even in the streets. Supposing you buy a Rolls Royce, can you drive it in Calcutta? But you have huge roads in America or somewhere, it goes on and on for any amount of distance. So, the avidya needs a space to operate. That is the mind. Once the mind is given the space, that takes over. That causes, then the avidya operates beautifully, leading to creation of so many bondages, etc. So, And then again, it further drives home the idea. How does it happen? And how the mind is the cause of all suffering? It says, Adhyasa yoga purushasya samsriti adhyasa bandhastra munaiva kalpita rajastamo doshavato avivekino janmadi dukkasya nidanametat. So, some sriti, samsara, samsarati iti samsara. Again and again it keeps coming endlessly. So this samsriti, how does it happen? Adhyasa yoga purushasya. It is due to the superimposition. That is called adhyasa. So all that wrong understanding, a thing is real nature is Chaitanya, real nature is Brahman, but that is seen as an object of enjoyment. And there is also wrong identification, like just as Rajju is identified as Sarpa, says all the identifications that we make are all wrong identifications. That's the only, whatever we do, it's all completely, there's an idea of adhyasa or superimposition. So the world is like that. The Brahman superimposed on that is all this existential world. We think that to be the real. If you remove the covering to discrimination, to the Viveka and Vairagya, you find out his real nature, and the world goes in no time. The world completely vanishes for a person. So what is world vanishing? And we will not see table, chair, or human beings, or food, or anything. But that will no longer have the effect of binding. See, whatever you have, anything, even if you have 100 crores, but if you don't care, what does it matter? You can have even 10 rupees, but you can count it 10 times daily. Oh, it is there, has nobody stolen. You have 100 crores, you don't look at it. Somebody is managing, I don't care. So anything can be there. Only the moment you get attached, and this attachment comes through adhyasa or the superimposition. Something which is not there, that is imposed on it to make it appear so, and that is what is called superimposition. So everything, the whole world, our body, mind, everything, they are all superimposition. The original, the real is the Chaitanya or the consciousness of the Brahman or Atman, over which we superimpose all these to produce what is called world, what is called body, what is called mind, what is called Indriyas, what is called Vishayas. They are all actually superimposition upon that which is the one reality, which is Brahman or Chaitanya consciousness. Then it says, Adhyasa bandhas tva munaiva kalpita. The bondage actually, this how does it adhyasa happen? Munaiva is the mind, the imagination of the mind alone that creates. When that mind becomes okay, then that adhyasa, that aropita, that superimposed idea goes away completely. How? The mind itself has found out. The mind itself created this superimposition. Oh, this is Sharpa, this is not Rajju. And then the same mind removes that adhyasa. No, it is only Rajju. Then there is complete clarity. So it is all completely, the superimposition is created with the mind only. Then later they will say it is completely removed by the mind. So what is the effect of this superimposition? Rajastamo doshavato avivekinaha janmadi dukkasya nidhanamedad. So it is the primal cause, the most important cause of his adhyasa is creating the janmadi dukkasya. It creates the sorrows, griefs of birth and death. Janmadi, janma, marana, everything. So all created by, for whom? Avivekina. For a person of non-discrimination, rajastamo doshavata. The person who is caught in rajanta. Because all these are all related to one. First of all, a person, he has no sense of viveka. He is an aviveki. And in such a person, there is a predominance of rajantam, intense activity and sloth and laziness and all that kind of thing. So because otherwise if the mind is full of sattva, no superimposition is possible and no adhyasa is possible. And such a person will not be aviveki. So it's all one is linked to the other. A person is a tremendous aviveki. In him, what are the indications that a person is like that? It's full of rajas and tamas. Because when you're full of rajas, you're always running around. You don't have the time to even discriminate and to see whether it's good or bad. This is real or unreal. But it's nitya or anitya. No time. Simply go headlong, perform, whatever it is. Then we will see later. पहले कर दो तो बाद में देखता हूँ. So that is the nature of Naviveki, full of rajas. And also, or is tamas, always sleeping, lazy, not indulging, no any activity, sloth. So a person who is full of raja and tamas, who is an aviveki, so for him, what is that? Again, janma, marana, dukkha, endless suffering, sorrow, again and again birth, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jataveshai. So that is the again and again that is the nature of human life. And what is the primal cause? How these are all created? It's because of this adhyasa. So everything they give only one example of this Rajju and Sarpa, but everything. See somebody is there, then you grow up, then you marry, then there's a family, there is a birth, there is some apparent joy for some time, then somebody dies, there is dukkha, and so it keeps on in a lifetime. So many times you go through again and again this endless suffering. Somebody is born, somebody dies, somebody is ill, somebody that. Everything is, why it is because we have we have done this adhyasa of assuming that they are mine. Is it not? In your house, there is an 80-year-old person, and 80 or 85, and is in bed for so many days. You are only thinking that Baba or kitna din, we are not able to serve him. So the neighbor, very young person, 30-year-old, about to go abroad, suddenly has an heart attack. So will you? You may go there. You may, for a moment, you may sit with them and weep also a little, as if it's your own son. But immediately you come back and you have to go out. Some other friend's son's marriage is there. After going there and talking to them for half an hour, you come back, change dress, and go for another marriage. Why? That means, are you heartless? No. But it is not mine. There is no idea, there is no identification. It is mine. Aham mama iti. It is neither aham nor mama. I know it is neighbors. They are good people. I have to go and sympathize with them. But in reality, it does not belong to me. But in our house, even if an 85-year-old person who has been sick for 15 years, bas, the whole para you call, he has gone, this, that, so much. Everybody says, 85-year-old, she will go. What is the problem? कैसे आप बोल रहे हैं? मेरा मम्मी है, my mother, my father. Do you know how much I love them? अरे yesterday you were complaining. कितना साल चलेगा? नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. 15 साल से bedridden है. Why you are? No, it's my father. My this thing. So suddenly that aham or mama that has come. That adhyasa. Till yesterday you are a viveki. No. It is good. Old person, they have suffered so much. It's good for him to go. But suddenly today, when the so-called death happened, all is sab ulat gaya. Now it is mine. Aham, my father, my relative, my uncle. कितना मेरा प्यार को जानते हैं आप? क्या बोल रहे हैं? Suddenly everything good. So the whole janma maranadi all for the dukkha nidana metar. The primal cause for all that is again this adhyasa, which makes one wrongly identify. Whole life is full of wrong idea. You see, from day one, the moment we become aware of things in life, from that time starts this adhyasa. Everything that you do is adhyasa. You study something, so I'm a highly qualified person. I'm a doctorate from Cambridge. अरे क्या है तो हजार doctorate आया गया क्या फायदा है? So many doctors have come and gone. You are also one of them. You'll also go after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. What is that so big about it? No, I've done in microbiology, very, very special. Okay, so many people have done. So, like it happens, everything about your job, about your thing, about your son, about your daughter, about your own son-in-law, daughter-in-law, everything, me, mine. Sometimes a little affection, again sometimes fight, sometimes hatred. And it goes on in various ways. People separating, people plotting somebody's death, killing, everything. At the root of all that is this adhyasa yoga. Because of this, by mistaking things which are anatman for atman. These are all anatman. All are imperishable. All are impermanent. Your degrees, your possessions, your cars, your houses, your husband, wife, your clothes, bank balance, materials, everything is today or tomorrow it is going to go. Oh, such a nice person. Lekin chala gaya, kya kare? Maybe nice, we agree, he was a nice person. Can anybody stop? Samay ho gaya, chale. So somewhere, can we understand? Because I think that I am going to live. Not a moment they fully realize, वही गति मेरा भी है. I am also going to undergo the same fate. That sometimes we may say, अरे कितना देर जाने में अच्छा है, जाने में बिल्कुल नहीं है. मन ही मन रहना चाहते हैं. But the mouth is saying जाने में अच्छा है. It's because maybe there is some pain, but there is some difficulty. Somebody, the milkman did not come, postman did not deliver, or the dog is barking, something. But again, when something is there, all attachment comes. Oh, don't take it. My grandfather built. Don't nail anything there. You know how much खड़े होके बनाया उन्होंने. You're piercing it with nails. Don't do it. As if somebody is piercing your heart. Why? Is imagining that it's all going to be there permanently. No. So why this adhyasa with regard to Janma and Marana comes? Because we think that we are eternal. मेरा मैं शाश्वत हूँ. Although I may say, oh, मेरा समय हो गया, मेरा ये हो गया, but मनी मन अंदर ही अंदर ये धारणा स्पष्ट है, मैं रहूंगा. मेरा बिल्कुल मृत्यु नहीं है, मैं चलता रहूंगा, बाकी सब लोग चले जाएं, मैं रहूंगा. So that is what is causing this adhyasa. It is not allowing, but if a person knows really, no, anytime it can happen, then see, that is why it's possible. Some people in Jain Sampradaya, etc., they do like that. Our old Swami was some 102 years old in Kankar. So he said, fine, bus, my life I've lived. He completely stopped food, everything, totally. After 3 days or so, simply he passed away. So that is understanding death. Nah? So simply he said, nothing doing. So many sadhus came and met them, and whenever he could talk, he talked a little. But completely, he said, no, मैं तो हो गया मेरा 102 साल, finished, no point in living anymore. And without water, without anything, simply he, I think initially he took a little water or something, then he stopped everything. 4 or 5 days, suddenly the life ebbed out. So this is understanding death. Nah? Otherwise, inwardly, we all think that we will live for eternity. So the cause of samsara is to be traced to the adhyasa, and this again is traced to be to the mind. It is the mind which is bringing about this adhyasa. So that is why the body with the senses is born of the mind. Is it not? When the mind is completely absorbed in something, there is no body, there is no disease. When people suffering from very terrible diseases, if they can meditate during that time, there is no awareness, there is no pain, not even cancer's pain, because they have learned. Otherwise, if the mind is always sensual, always active, it keeps on suffering every moment. अरे यहाँ दर्द हो रहा है, यहाँ दर्द हो रहा है, ये दवा दो, ये दवाई दो. कितना दवाई दें, वो तो दवाई तो दूसरी जगह में चाहिए, वहां दवाई नहीं लगा सकते. That kind, nobody can give a mind to the dawai, to mind, unless you have practiced. Suddenly it will not happen. So the adhyasa, which is the cause for successive births and death, and then the flow of samsara by the mind is the primal cause for all kinds of griefs, starting from birth, death, old age, disease, etc. Everything. These are all creations of the adhyasa, which again is traced to the mind. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamstu.